Welcome back to BVarsity Live. Zach Ewing and Trevor Horn with you here at the Californian. We've made our line change, and we have the Garces Baseball team, or some of it, in the studio now. Reece Males, Hudson Hartley, and Coach Guy Dees. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
And
good.
Congratulations in order for yesterday's semifinal win. Come from behind win, 6-4 over Independence. Before that, you beat Kingsburg 4-3 in the quarterfinals. So some nail biters, some tough games, but that's really what playoff baseball is all about, isn't it, Reece?
Of course, you got to stay focused, though, and just stay on top of your game and be able to knuckle through those tough innings and stay on top.
And you had a big home run yesterday to turn a 4-3 deficit into a 5-4 lead, and then Hudson came on after you started the game on the mound, and Hudson finished things off, and he'll be the starter Saturday, and that's the big game, the Division III championship game. Garces will be playing Ridgeview. That's up at Rawhide Ballpark in Visalia. Starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Bright sunshine and a big stage for you guys. Hudson, how excited are you to get the ball in that situation?
I'm really excited. It's like my third start this year, so I haven't started a lot, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be sort of the time to get it done. Guy, moving into the SWYL this year, you knew it was going to be tough. You're playing a lot of Division I teams. You went 5-10 in the league. You were competitive in a lot of games. Now that you're in D3, the playoff bracket where you sort of belong, how much did that experience help you getting beat up and playing those tough games a little bit?
I think it was absolutely huge, especially with our roster. We're incredibly young this year. We have 4 freshmen and I believe 6 sophomores on our squad. So, in fact, going into the season with just these 2 guys, that's the only varsity pitching experience we had, and we only had a total of like 35, 36 innings of varsity pitching experience. So we knew we were going to see some lumps, and playing that competition helped us out.
Yeah, so now what you're saying is put us in D2 next year, right?
No, definitely not.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, but you will be growing up and getting better. But coaches talk about all the time, freshmen aren't freshmen anymore at this time of year. They're not allowed to be, I guess.
That's true.
Have you guys seen growth in your younger teammates as leaders on this team? I mean, from now we're in late May and about to play for a Valley title versus back in February. What's the difference been?
I've noticed in one of our young guys, he's a freshman, Andrew Valles. Since in the beginning of the season, he was a little scared guy on the mound, but as we progressed through the league, he became a bulldog and he started throwing gas on the mound. He's become part of us, and like he's with us now, and I've seen growth in him. Very impressive.
Hudson, how much of it did you take upon yourself to kind of be the leader of these freshmen this year?
I just kind of just guided them through it, just kept their hopes up that we're going to win, and I don't know, just kept them through it.
Ridgeview tomorrow. Have you seen Ridgeview this year?
We've watched them, scouted them a little bit.
Okay, have not played them, and I know they probably used their top pitcher Chase Stebbins, who threw a shutout yesterday to get them past Porterville and into the D3 game. You guys know anybody on the Ridgeview team? Have you seen them play at all? What's the matchup like? Is it just like playing an out of town team then? I guess.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, we played them last year, but I don't know if they have any of the same guys as last year. But we'll just have to see what happens.
And a shout out to the Wolfpack as well. And then, Trevor, we have a schedule for the baseball section championships, which begin tomorrow at Rawhide Ballpark. The D5 game between Chavez and Fireball is up first.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through D1 through D6. Saturday, 8 p.m., the marquee game is number 1, Buchanan versus number 3, Clovis. Great track matchup. D2, Friday, 8 p.m., Hanford and Redwood. D3, your guys, like we said, is Saturday at 1 p.m. 9:30 in the morning on Saturday. That's bright and early. That's Golden Valley. Great win for Mike Gibson and the crew. They will go up against Fireball. Fireball won the D4 title in 2012.
I've been saying Chavez Fireball. I got my divisions mixed up.
Fireball, who last won with my buddy Eric Salcido as head coach. And then CVC and Chavez at 4:30 on Friday. That'll be the first game in D5, and then D6 is at 4:30 also on Saturday, and that's McFarland versus Farmersville.
So that's a Kern County representative in 4 of the 6 games. So starting D5 tomorrow at 4:30, you have Chavez and CVC. D2 tomorrow night, Redwood and Hanford. And then Saturday, day full of baseball at Rawhide, 9:30 a.m., Golden Valley and Fireball. 1 p.m., these guys, Garces against Ridgeview, 4:30, McFarland, Farmersville, and then Clovis against Buchanan for the D1 title. Second straight year for the D1 title, those 2 schools at 8 o'clock that night. How much baseball do you guys plan to watch after you're done on Saturday? I mean, have you thought about let's stick around and watch this D1 game, or is it, I mean, I'm sure the focus is pretty much on 1 o'clock right now.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about watching any other games, just focusing on our game pretty much.
Yeah, same for me. It's just been take the game, and if we win, go home, celebrate, and that's about it.
You guys got the 5 seed, and you got a bye, and I don't know how much difference it made because you ended up getting a home game anyway. You were on the road in the quarterfinals, but you get a home game when the number 1 seed got beat. Do you look at the seed guy? Did you use that as motivation for the guys? Did you say it doesn't matter? I mean, how did you approach the bracket?
Well, going into the brackets before they seeded, we talked about it quite a bit from the idea of trying to motivate the guys a little bit to climb that seed. But once it comes to playoff baseball, it just doesn't matter. Obviously, we went up against Independence last night, tough team, and you can ask both Highland and Kerman. They definitely were not an 8 or 9 seed.
No. Yeah, and they got some pitching back in the middle of the season that really improved their lot, and they could have easily been in the Valley final instead of you guys. But you pull it out. Reece, speaking of pulling it out, I want to talk about that at bat. Your long home run. I don't want to speak for you, but maybe the biggest home run you ever hit, considering the circumstances. What went into that at bat, and how did the outcome come out so well?
Well, our leadoff guy, or one of our guys, Samuel, he got on base, and then I think we got an out, and I just knew we were down, and I knew we needed to get back into the game. And first pitch, he threw me one that was just right in my meat spot, and I just put a good swing on it, and it was a monster shot. I'm not gonna lie, but it was good to get back in the game, and we were able to put Hudson on the mound and get the win, get us to Valley.
Now, some guys wouldn't jump on a first pitch. I mean, you go up there in a big spot and I'm going to wait it out and wait for one I like or anything. Do you have to go up there in that situation saying I'm going to be aggressive, or is that just how you play anyway?
We always have to have a plan going up to bat, but usually I just take it pitch by pitch, and it was right there, so I just took the good swing on it. And
we're looking at highlights right now. Guy, what the biggest situation, obviously, Reece, you had a little command trouble. I mean, I think you'll agree with that, right? You had a little command trouble. They jumped on you guys, but, you guys got through that third inning where it was hit, walk, hits, batter, and walk, and they scored 2 runs with only 1 hit. Guy, do you feel like, just the whole situation with, having to pull Reece out and then Andrew only going for 2 at-bats, and then you bring Joseph Tobias in and he shuts down those last 2 at-bats. I mean, that was a big turnaround for you guys to get out of there. Only 2 runs scored, right?
Absolutely it was. It's a situation, unfortunately, we've put ourselves in a few times this year, so it's something we've definitely worked through. We've had games where we've gone through as many as 9 or 10 different pitchers, trying to find that guy who would throw some strikes and walks. And so what Joseph did was absolutely incredible.
And you called him, I mean, kind of like Reece, what you called Andrew was a bulldog. You said the same thing. You used the same analogy. Here he is. And now, we're looking at video of Hudson come in. You strike out the 2. You get 3 quick ground balls there, I believe, right, in the 6th inning. And then you come back. You guys get that insurance run there in the 6th inning. So you got a 2-run lead. What's going on in your mind as you get that 2-run lead, knowing that you got 1 inning left?
I'm just in my head just thinking that we got this now. Got an insurance run, and I'm ready to go.
Yep. And then we're going to see the video here. Who is this getting?
Sterling.
Sterling, right, out of your 8 hitter, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't a happy clap there, was it?
That was a happy clap.
Oh,
that was a
okay.
happy clap because you got that insurance run for Hudson. Yeah, you can see it.
Driven the run in.
Yep. And then here's the 7th inning. Mindset here, Hudson, just, knowing that, right here, game over.
Yeah.
Well, here's the 2nd inning. So you struck out the side. You gave that 1 hit to Tyler Smith with 2 outs. And then here it is. Set up this moment for us.
I really wasn't thinking. I looked at Reece and I actually said, like, you ready to go to Valley? And I threw the pitch and struck him out.
Very nice. Now, the rule is 10 innings a week. That's the limit to kind of preserve guys' arms. So you're good for 8 innings. So the plan all along was to have Hudson pitch the 6th and 7th yesterday, correct?
Not necessarily 6th and 7th, but at the end of the game. It could have been just the 7th.
And that's whether you're up a couple runs, down a couple runs, whatever the case might be, you're going to do that. But Hudson, how much do you gear yourself up? You're playing the game. You're going to come in and pitch. You see, Reece give you guys the lead. How does your mentality change throughout the game as you're preparing for that situation?
I'm kind of just relaxed throughout the whole game until I have to go in, and then when Reece, like something exciting happens like that, like a home run, I just get pumped up. My whole body's just like tingling.
Do you like that situation as a pitcher, knowing that the game's kind of on the line?
Oh yeah.
You have that closer's mentality, so to speak. Now, will you change that as a starting pitcher? You said you've only started a handful of times this year. Do you have to be a little more calm when you go out there if you know you're going to go 6-7 innings?
Yeah, I'll be a little bit more relaxed and just ready to go.
You seem like a relaxed kind of guy. Guy, you got a lot of confidence in this guy, though.
No doubt about it. Tons of confidence.
The plan all along was to have him pitch the championship game if you guys were fortunate enough to get there, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you'll be the road team as the number 5 seed, Ridgeview number 2 seed in Visalia. What's your opinion on playing the game in Visalia? Let's talk about that because we have 2 Bakersfield teams here, and I know there's a lot of talk from Fresno. It's Clovis against Buchanan. We could have drawn a bigger crowd at one of those high schools or at Fresno State or something, but the section says no, they're all in Visalia. But it's a cool stage. It's a cool park. What's your feeling on it, guy?
Well, as the visiting team now.
That's great, yeah.
I think it's great. We took home field advantage away from Ridgeview.
Now, what if you were the lower seed, though? Would your opinion change?
If I was the higher seed,
if
the
you were
game
the
was going
better
to be
seed,
at home, I would have much rather played the game at home.
Okay.
In high school baseball, maybe more than a lot of the other sports, the field really comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
You know your field. You know the dirt. You know the outfield grass. You know how the backstop plays.
You know the distance to the fence, and that's one thing that we always talk like with Centennial. You know whether or not that would have been an advantage, but it actually became a disadvantage because, like you said, Zach, yesterday, that a fly ball at Clovis, a normal pop up to
Jeremy
left
Garcia
fielder.
hit a home run yesterday. It was probably a 290-foot
Right.
home run that just happened to get out at Centennial, but that's what happens there. Now, Rawhide Ballpark's a unique place. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but you enter on the first base side or on right field. You don't enter behind the grandstand like you do at a lot of ballparks. And that makes the whole thing, the right field side is almost sort of built into the street. And it's an old ballpark, and it's a cool place to watch a game. But there are a little bit of dimension issues. Now, what do you do? There's a game before you on Saturday. Is there any way to prepare yourself other than just watching the game before you?
Yeah, they actually have it set up to where we will be taking batting practice at one of the local high schools.
Okay.
And then from there, we have a certain time that we have to be at the complex and ushered in by our escort.
And obviously, when you take the field, that'll be the first time you played out there.
Correct.
Because there's a game right before you. There's games the previous day, so you can't get out there. How do you guys feel about that? Does that affect you at all? I mean, baseball's baseball at a certain level.
I mean, yeah, I would like the home field advantage, but when you get between the lines, it's all 4 bases. It's all the same. Just play the game.
Hudson, what about you?
It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice field, so I'm excited to play there.
Absolutely. Now, I watched Garces win a D3 title up in Fresno a few years ago. That was an exciting game at Fresno High. And since then, this is the first time back. So this is an exciting opportunity. Can you put into words what it would mean for you and the school to take home a Valley title on Saturday?
It would mean everything, just coming here and being able to play ball and put that ring on my finger at the end, hang another banner at our school would be great,
It really has been, Hudson, the ultimate goal, I'm sure, the entire season, right?
Yeah, just being a senior and the captain, it's been the whole goal.
And Guy, there was one thing you talked about yesterday. None of these guys played 3 years ago, so none of them were freshmen on the varsity team. But you said you personally don't have to tell them what the situation is like. That you've got so many other guys that have come through the program to talk to them. You said that's pretty special. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of guys that are around town still. We have guys like Nick Vwall who are playing with Cal State. We had Trey Davidson, a guy that graduated last year that's playing junior college ball, come back. We have Jake Pavletich who's down with Cal State Fullerton. These guys are around all the time. They come out to practice. They talk to the guys. They work with the guys. So it's a pretty special deal. Then we have some of the older alumni that are still around, like Brian Bach, who played a little bit with the Orioles. He comes out and works with the guys. So it's a pretty special place. It's a neat legacy to be part of.
And, of course, Jake Swinney on that team also became a third-round draft pick, so quite a team you had a couple years ago. And these guys trying to sort of rewrite that history. Good luck to you. We'll see you out there 1 o'clock on Saturday at Rawhide Ballpark in Visalia against Ridgeview.
Great.
Thank you.
We
Thanks.
appreciate you guys joining us. This is Garces Baseball team, Reece Males, Hudson Hartley, and Coach Guy Dees. And we'll be right back on BVarsity Live after this, and we'll close things up.